Shows that make you laugh. Shows that make you think. Music that moves you. It could only be one place. Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi everybody, I'm Ron Brewington and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Brought to you by Photography as an Art, Harvey Randman, Master Photography, located at 1307 North San Fernando Boulevard in Burbank, California. And the newly released Mass Murderers in America, written by attorney Ron Irwin, now available from Lulu Press at lulu.com, that's lulu.com, in paperback at a 30% discount price. My guest today is well known here in Los Angeles. He's a veteran actor, stage and production manager. He's known for always wearing a hat cocked to the side with a big broad smile on his face. I can tell you, whenever there is a play or theater production in this town, you can bet your bippy he's got something to do with it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome longtime acquaintance, John Freeland Jr. John, thank you very, very much for making it in this morning. Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you. I want to welcome you and glad to have you stop by. By the way, a lot of things. Where do we start at? Where did you come from? Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Middletown, Connecticut.
Connecticut?
Connecticut, yes, there are black people in Connecticut.
Okay, yes. I'll leave that one alone, okay. And then so what was it like growing up in Connecticut?
It was wonderful. It was quiet, it was calm, you know, it was a small town. I mean, maybe 30, 35,000 people spread out. Okay. You know, great neighborhood. You know, there was a lot of kids in the neighborhood. Some of my best friends, oldest friends are, you know, was next door, and so we all played together and went to school together. And there were two high schools. Okay. Woodrow Wilson High School and Middletown High School. And so everybody kind of knew each other and whatnot. You know, it was a great upbringing. It was a great upbringing.
Okay. A little track and field, basketball stuff?
Yeah, yeah. I ran track in high school. I ran what was called then the 880.
Yes, the 880.
Now it's called the 800 meter. You know, and I ran that and played basketball. Yes. Did all that up to my junior year. Okay. And then in my senior year, I got addicted to tennis, even though we didn't have a tennis team. Okay. The math teacher said, anybody want to play or learn how to play, come after school. We had courts, but no team. Gotcha. And I started hitting balls over people's houses because I didn't know what I was doing. You know, and I fell in love with tennis and played like all summer in the hot sun. Wow. And my father thought I was crazy playing in, you know, 90-degree weather, you know, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Okay.
And then you went to college.
Yes, I went to attended Middlesex Community College. Okay. And stayed there on and off 2-3 years. You know, it's community college. You know, and you know how that can be. Oh, yes. You know, and you know, and that's when I started doing some theater with the drama class. And, started directing plays. Then I didn't know what directing was, so I would stand up in a chair and direct like a conductor. That was not the way you're supposed to do that. And then I ended up at a 4-year school, which is called Wesleyan University. Wesleyan University. And which is in the same town, Middletown. Lin-Manuel, who wrote Hamilton, also went to Wesleyan, but he came in years after I had gone. Okay. Just a name drop.
Drop them names. That's what we're doing
drop names. You know. Oh, yeah. And so, yeah, started doing a lot of theater, mostly acting at Wesleyan, you know. Okay.
Your microphone, I believe it dropped.
Oh, it dropped. Okay. Oh, we have a little
malfunction here.
Yeah, a little malfunction.
No problem. We can solve that problem.
Hey, how you doing there?
All right.
Guys, coming up now, so all on your seats, get comfortable, and please do welcome Mr. John Freeland Jr. Come on right up, John.
How are you doing? Great. Good. And how are you it's time to give gifts and be merry and lie to all your friends and give them something. You know, because you don't give nothing during the year, most folks, and then they wait till Christmas to go bankrupt to give people you don't like gifts. Yeah, everyone is doing that now. I'd like to play something for you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So anyway, like I said, I'm glad to be back. I just came back from Vegas, where I opened for Rachel. Are you leaving? You gotta get another. Yeah. My answer machine will call your answer machine, and they'll have lunch. Yeah. Bye, Rachel. Yes, I just came back from Vegas, like I said before, where I opened up for Liberace. Yeah, I opened up some car doors for him, stuff like that. Yeah. It was good to be back, though. Good to be back. Yeah. 'Tis the season to be jolly. 1985 was an interesting year. It was the year of a lot of things. We had a black man running for the president of the United States. We had someone trying to kill Mexicans with cheese. And black people with watermelon.
All right. Okay. But that was, some folks said we had a little problem, but we solved that by showing people exactly this was your first appearance. You were a stand-up comedy.
Yes. I did stand-up comedy for on and off for about 8 years, 9 years or so. And that clip you just saw, I don't remember what venue that was, so forgive me if that venue is still in operation. But yeah, that was back from 1985. Okay. And yeah, I had a good time doing stand-up. So, got a chance to do the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory and the Improv and, do a little tour stuff. And yeah, would open up for people like Miss Phyllis Bailey.
Phyllis Bailey.
Yeah, who is now Miss Phyllis Bailey Brooks.
Okay.
And who is a wonderful, wonderful vocalist herself. And she used to perform at a spot on Santa Monica Boulevard in La Brea called Tom Roller's Gardena.
Takes you back, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a little supper club,
yes,
and so I would open for Phyllis and also do a little musical thing with her. And so she really is the one that got me kind of going with the stand-up and, it moved on. And yeah, so... Yeah. So it was the time when Robert Townsend was doing it.
Robert Townsend. And last couple weeks ago.
Yeah. T.K. Kirkland and Robin Harris, though, at the Comedy Act. I performed down at the Comedy Act a few times.
Robin Harris.
Yeah. Robin was hilarious, man. He was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So you met a lot of guys at Arsenio Hall.
Yeah, Arsenio Hall.
Wow.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy was on the scene. I wasn't quite there with Eddie, but he was there. Yeah. And there was Andrew Dice Clay. There was Sam Kinison. They were all in operation at the time. So
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, good to my brother. Hey.
Quite a guy. Still doing his stuff too.
Still doing it. Yeah, he's still working.
Still working in Vegas recently.
Yeah.
So from 81 to 89, 8 years, you were doing stand-up, and then you had a chance to do a whole lot of other things. One of them was that you got a chance in 1988 to do your first short film, Cadillac Dreams.
Cadillac Dreams, yes indeed. Don Full of Love. The other brother, I just can't remember. I see his face all the time. Who was the lead? Larry Manley was in it also. Yes, I played a gun runner, so I was a person that if you needed some weapons, you would come to me, and I would hook you up.
Okay.
Yeah, that was American Film Institute project that was put on by the Women in Directing program at AFI.
Okay.
So that was, and it was nominated for Academy Award for Best Short Film.
All right.
And
Okay. Yeah. And then it came up in 1996. You got a job with TV series Mad About You.
Yes, Mad About You. Yes, Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt. It was a great experience being on that set, and before that I was doing. Did What's Happening Now, before that. And all the while I was doing theater. I was still involved in theater and being in as many productions as I could, be in. And Mad About You was a great experience. I got a chance to see how folks, do what they do, you know. I'm like, oh, okay, oh, they're rewriting on the spot. Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, it was a great experience.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because we just want to talk about just your acting career first, then get into the theater. But again, like you say, you were doing acting and theater at the same time.
Yeah.
There's something about theater that got into your blood, brother.
There's nothing like live theater. Being on stage live, you can't call cut, you can't stop and say, can we do this again? Right. Those characters have to be alive on that stage. And they are alive on the stage before you get to the stage. Like during the day, those characters are still inside and they're still percolating and carrying on until you hit the set, you know, where they come out. You know? Wow. So there's nothing like live performance. Wow. Nothing like live. A lot of people are scared of live performance.
Yeah, I know that, because it's more than take one, take two.
Yeah. But you have some people like Samuel Jackson who does theater. Denzel does a lot of theater. And of course, you know, Al Pacino and John Lithgow. There's still folks who go back and forth between film, TV, and the theater, you know, because it draws them in. They can't, you know, they need that fix.
Speaking of that fix and theater, as I was doing my research for this interview today, you were a member of the Inner City Cultural Center.
Yes, the Inner City Cultural Center. When I first came here, I asked the question, who are the black folks doing theater in Los Angeles? And everybody kept saying, Inner City Cultural Center, Inner City Cultural Center. So I got hold of the number, and I called Inner City Cultural Center. Got a hold of a gentleman by the name of James Burks.
James Burks.
Y'all know James Burks, right? Yes. Right? He was working with C. Bernard Jackson, who was the artistic director and founder of Inner City Cultural Center. Mm-hmm. And so I said, hey, James, I'm new in town. As one of folks is doing theater, and I keep hearing the name, and I just came out of Wesleyan University, boom, and then he just cut me off and said, just come on down here.
As Burks.
Yeah, and so I went down there, and it is like 2 big theaters, a couple small theaters, dance studios. You see Glenn Turman. You see Bea Richards, you see Ted Lange, they're teaching classes, they're acting in plays, and so I got involved doing administrative stuff, being, like an assistant in class, got a chance to host some shows up in the Stormy Weather Cafe up on the 3rd floor. It's just like, it's a place where you just can do a bunch of things, like they might walk up to you and say, we have a show on Sunday, can you run lights? Can you hang the lights? Can you work on costumes? Kim Fields was working there, Wendy Raquel Robinson, all these folks was working, and you go like, wow, there's no place like that today.
Yes.
No place like that today.
We recently last year they had the 50th anniversary of the Inner City Cultural. Yeah. Was that you I saw hanging around in the back there someplace? Was that you?
Yeah, it might have been.
Celebrate 50
Yeah. I mean, it was
marvelous.
A training ground for a lot of people,
yeah.
and a chance, and people that we saw on television and film and in theater were coming there to teach, young people, to do plays, and so you was always around. So we're just like one big family. Hawthorne James was there, Pat Morita. It was just. Man, the people like Milton Berle, he would do stuff down there. So he had all these people that would just be there, giving their time and their energy, and you got a chance to explore and do some things that you normally, didn't do or weren't able to do in other theaters, like design lights, hang some lights, do some costumes, host some shows, work on props, build sets. Do administrative work, help with the PR and all that kind of stuff. So it was a great training ground.
You mentioned Jack, the guy who started the old.
Yes,
Jackson.
Yes.
We're trying to get him a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes.
Long overdue.
Yes.
For what he did.
Yes, because his philosophy was multiculturalism through the arts.
Yes.
Because when you go to Inner City Cultural Center, you would see people from all ethnicities, genders, persuasion. Everybody was there.
Gotcha.
Doing what Cliff Rockmore was in there directing great plays with Mickey Stevenson and Larry White. Wow. I mean, just the talent that came out of there, and there's a lot of folks who are still working, who are around. Some of the folks are gone, but yeah. yeah. It will live on.
It will live on. Yes.
And inner city is still functioning today. You know, they do a lot of readings and festivals in the Leimert Park area. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Again, 1996, you had another role on the NBC TV series Dark Skies for a minute.
Yes, that was a big show that NBC was pushing, and it was something about aliens and here on this planet and, you know, assimilating to this culture, and it was a big push, and I think it lasted for like a season or something like that, so I did an episode of that. And just so happens the director of that particular episode was a gentleman by the name of Matthew Penn, who, you know, also attended Wesleyan University. So that was
interesting.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
1997, you got a role playing a police officer on the Steve Harvey Show.
Yeah. Yep, Steve and Cedric had a situation on the show where they were out and they come back to their house and their house is completely empty. Someone had taken everything, even the grand piano.
Gotcha.
So I was the officer investigating, you know, who it was, and it was some young lady who was known to do that kind of thing, to say that, you know, hey, I'm your relative or whatever, and, you know, you give them the keys and they take everything in your house.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it was great working with Cedric and Steve at the time. I look at Steve and I'm going like, how he get his mustache like that? how he do his mustache like that?
Yeah, God, you did a lot of shows. You did General Hospital. You did I'm Through with White Girls, The Inevitable Undoing of Jay Brooks.
Yeah.
You did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that was a great film. That was a great short film.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fast forward to 2009, and there you were with a role in The Nation.
Oh, yes. Junie Smith. Yay, Junie. Who was just in town. He did the documentary on Woody King, who, you know, is one of the masters of theater in New York and had a great company. And Junie put this piece together about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and all the folks back in the day, and you know, he gave me a spot, and I go like, oh, okay, really, okay. There was a lot of great people. Smokey Campbell was in it, Ben Guillory. Yeah, there was Ernest Harden. There was man, that cast was, you know. Of course, I didn't work with a lot of those folks because, you know, I just had like the singular job playing, you know, playing one of the ministers, you know, doing a speech, you know. But it was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've done a few other roles. Last Night in 2013, Shooter's Stance in 2014, and while you, like I said, while you're doing all this acting work, here you were on stage. I see you had quite a few roles. One was The Last Outpost.
Yes, written by my very, very good friend, Lynn Manning.
Lynn Manning.
And we did it at the Los Angeles Theater Center in Theater 2. And directed by Roxanne Rogers, cast of 7. The play takes place over a period of time in a local bar in the Wilshire District, also known as now Koreatown. And yeah, that was yeah, Lynn was a prolific writer, and
yes, indeed.
Great to be part of that project. That project was very intense, and people would talk to us during the performance. You know,
There was something unique about Lynn Manning. Please tell the audience, please.
Lynn Manning grew up in Los Angeles. He was one of 9 kids. Spent the majority of his life in foster homes and group homes. And in the late 70s, got in an altercation in a bar with someone, and he was shot in the eye, and he lost his sight.
Yes, sir.
And since becoming blind, he became the international blind judo champion of the world, award-winning playwright, a published poet, and an actor who could also play sighted people. And he toured around the world with his solo show called Waits, which I went to Europe with him a couple times to stage manage. And just a unique, powerful, sensitive spirit.
Yes.
You know, who left us a couple years ago.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And never will forget that guy.
Yeah.
Once you got around him, he just rubbed off on you.
Yeah, just rubbed
Special
off on
guy.
you. Yeah.
Never will forget it.
Yes. Yeah.
You also did a soldier's play. You guys got a Dramalago Award for that. Shoot and drive toward the, let's see, you went to Zagreb, Croatia.
Zagreb, Croatia. Where they do the International Blind and Visually Impaired theater festival.
Okay.
There are theater companies around the planet that have actors who are visually impaired or blind. And they do theater productions, and they put on some brilliant stuff. One company that I saw was out of London called Extent. That is artistic director is Maria Oshuti, and the Croatian company is. Their work also was brilliant. When you see these, and you don't know that these actors, have this kind of challenge going on by the high level of work that you see on stage. Gotcha. So I went over there with Lynn Manning. He went over and he opened up the festival the year that, and we brought 3 plays of his. We brought his play Waits, brought another one called Shoot, about a blind man who goes into a pawn shop to buy a gun, where I play his half brother, in it. And we brought in another piece called Oakwood Station, about a guy who kind of loses it because of his job and the pressure of his family. So yeah. So and those are all 3 of Lynn's plays that he had written. And
God bless him.
Yeah,
God bless him.
Yeah.
You also did The Father in Stockholm, Sweden.
Yes. There's the Strindberg Society that was here here in town. David Patch was the head of the Strindberg Society here in Los Angeles, and so they had the Strindberg Festival in Stockholm, Sweden, where companies from around the world would come in doing August Strindberg play. So we were doing The Father as a stage reading, concert reading. So when we were there doing our production, one of the reviews said that we have never seen a reading, because in Stockholm, they put up plays, they mount plays, they have a lot of theaters, and they had never seen a reading before. So, we got on national television there in Sweden and whatnot. Vera Lynn Jones was in the cast with Dick Wayne, and Felton Perry was in the cast
Felton
as well.
Perry.
Yeah, Felton Perry. Yeah,
Crazy
Dick.
guy.
Yeah, love Felton. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
John, we've been talking about your acting career, but we want to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back where we'll talk about your stage management and production career. Okay?
All right.
Okay. Got to pay the bills.
Yeah, got to pay the bills.
The studio of Harvey Brandman Photography as an Art is proud to offer a $100 discount certificate for you or your family for any photo package of $300 or more. Harvey has been in the photo business for nearly a quarter of a century and knows how to take care of you. So give him a call today, ladies and gentlemen, at 818-954-9294. That's 818-954-9294. You'll be glad that you didn't. Tell them that you heard it right here on The Actor's Choice. Mass Murderers in America, a realistic book seen and heard in today's news headlines. Mass Murderers in America details every mass murder since September 1949 to September 2015 in the San Bernardino case. Attorney Ron Irwin wrote the book, which is now currently available for a discount 30% off price. To get a copy, go to lulu.com. That's lulu.com. And I just want to let you know, if you have a commercial and you'd like to have it played right here in this program, just give me a call, 323-533-1036. That's 323-533-1036. My guest today is John Freeland, Jr., veteran actor, stage and production manager. I'm Ron Burrington, and this is The Actor's Choice. Okay, John, we've been talking about your work as an actor,
Yes.
but there's more to you than that. First of all, where do you get all that energy?
I don't know. I think part of it is that I love the things that I do and are able to do. I love it, and people give me the opportunity to to work with them. I've been fortunate. I've been blessed to be hired and be asked to be on projects with a lot of people. So I'm very very appreciative about that. Yeah.
Like I say, you're a legend, man. You're a legend. Who don't know John Freeland Jr.? Jesus. For those that don't know, what's the difference between a production director and a stage manager?
The stage manager is basically the director's right hand in terms of everything that the director wants and needs. It's the responsibility of the stage manager to make sure that it happens. And so when a show opens, well, through the rehearsal process, you need some more props, you need some this and that and the other, and coordinating the crew and, you know, setting up rehearsal schedules and make sure that those kinds of things happen. And when the show opens, usually the director might stay for a weekend, something like that, to see it, and they're off on other projects. Okay. So it is the stage management team job is to maintain what the director has directed. So make sure that the light, sound, projection cues come in, sets of changements will be changed, the actors still wearing the same costumes, the blocking stays the same, that they stay on track with their lines, and we manage the production and make sure that it has the same integrity as when the director left. So when the director comes back 3 weeks later, 6 months later, 2 years later, they see the same show that they directed. So it's our job to maintain that.
John, as I'm listening to you talk, I'm saying to myself, I hope them folks up there at Wesleyan University know what did they put out here. What did they give us? What did they give us? My goodness.
Yeah. And the thing I like about it is that most of the time I'm in at the beginning of the rehearsal process.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm in on the auditions. You know, and then other times I'm in, but most of the time I'm in on the rehearsal process. And then there are cases where I come in during tech week. Okay. So they've already rehearsed for, you know, a number of weeks or whatever. And then I come in during tech week, which is when the lighting elements come in, the sound elements come in, the projection elements come in, the costumes come in, et cetera, and then help coordinate all that, you know, to the opening of the production, you know. So it come in various things.
Gotcha.
And I also do theater festivals and and jazz festivals where I'm responsible for getting the bands on stage and make sure that, you know, their plot is set up and that they get off stage, you know, like when they're supposed to be, and so we can set up for a second. I work with dance companies as well. You know, I work with Jazz Antiqua, Pat Taylor's company, Jazz Antiqua here in town, and just did a big festival that Lula Washington hosted. It was the International Association of Blacks in Dance. So there were companies from all over the country that came here, and 2 companies from Australia that came here, and so it was about 45 companies and whatnot. So it was 4 days of a lot of dance, which was just fabulous.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So. To say that you're the master of all things is an understatement. Understatement.
Yeah,
I mean, good grief.
I do the best I can, you know. As I say, I'm blessed, I'm fortunate that people have asked me and, you know, appreciate my work, you know. I like to have fun when I work also. I mean, you know, we got to get the job done because it is a job, it is work, you know, but also having fun and being around these brilliant minds of directors and producers and actors and dancers and musicians and visual artists, you know, and the conversations that we have, you know, during rehearsals and whatnot, it's just enlightening, and where people have been and where they're going and their dreams, and it's just, yeah, this is, you know, of course there's some days when you go like, oh, okay, it's going to be a long day, but overall I love the work, you know what I mean, you know, and it doesn't feel like work sometimes, even though after a 14-hour day, 16-hour day, you know, you go, you know, okay, all right, you know, and got a chance to do some of that in film and television as well. Yeah.
Take us from the beginning, from the idea of a play. It's on, and now it's in the script. They cast it, and then here you come, the director, all the other, the stage manager, production director, all these guys coming together. Okay, what's it like to take on a task like that? What can you talk about the preparation that you have to go through?
When I'm asked to do something, you know, I say, well, send me the script, you know, and I read the play, and I kind of, you know, break it down and find out where the props, you know, may be, with the prop, you know, what the place is props, even though the director may not use all those props might be invisible or whatever the style is. And then the first day of rehearsal, when everybody is sitting at the table, all the cast, the producers, the director, the designers, we're sitting at the table, most of us meeting for the first time. Sometimes, like in this town, you know, sometimes you work with a lot of the same people, you know, even though you haven't seen them in 10 years, you know. And the director will give their vision of the play and whatnot. The set designer may have a model of the set, so everybody can see what the visual of the set is, and the costume will have a little of a plot of what the costume plot might be, and we read the play, and maybe stop and go and talk about some ideas, take a break, talk about more ideas, talk about if it's a period play, what's going on in that period, and relationships between the characters, and so all that stuff is going on. That might go on for 2-3 days. It's called a table read. So like we might be doing table read, table work for 2-3 days, especially if it's a new play. If it's a new play, then it requires a lot more attention because it hasn't been mounted yet. So if you take a play like Streetcar Named Desire or something like that that's been done a billion times, that kind of table work may not be done unless you're doing a new adaptation of it or something like that. Okay. So yeah, we are working toward what the writer has written, which is the director's job to bring that out in whatever vision that they have. Okay. So we all support the director's, vision.
So all this work goes on. All we do is got to buy a ticket and come and sit on that.
And when you come to buy the ticket, you have seen the result of weeks, years, sometime of work, that has transpired behind the scenes. And when you come and you see all the lights move and the costumes and the sets move and the projections and all of that, that's from all the work that we've done behind the scenes. Wow. Yeah.
And then when it's all over, the cast comes out and they take their bows.
Take their bows. Take their bows.
Wow.
Take their bows.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And then when the run is over, the crew comes in and takes down the set. Costumes are gone. Folks are off on other projects, and the space looks like we've never been there.
Okay. Again, the love that you have for stage, I also have that same love. And I know sometimes when I see a lot of actors, because we get them on this show and whatever, and you say to them, hey, you doing any stage work? No, I don't do that stuff. I don't like to do that stuff. I like to do television and film. What do you say to them?
Well, I said, fine, that's good. Everybody has their thing. Everybody likes to do a thing. But I think that from my experience and what I've seen in others, you're really good film actors. You're really good TV actors.
Right.
They all got solid theater background.
Yes.
If you do the research on a lot of folks that folks like, go back, and they got solid theater background. Gotcha. Because you're in a thing where there is no cuts. There is no, like we were saying earlier, there's no cuts. You straight through, and you have a full development of your character. Gotcha. You know what I mean? And there's no break in it. So when you hit that stage for the next 2 hours or however long the play is, 3 hours, like a lot of Shakespeare stuff, you are that character. And you have built a background. You have, you've worked out beats. You've worked out moments. You've got a live relationship with somebody on stage with you. Yes. And there's nothing to substitute that. But a lot of your best film actors, from Meryl Streep, from Denzel, Samuel Jackson, Al Pacino, John Lithgow. Who's the guy who plays the Wolverine guy?
I know something about.
He bounces back from Broadway shows to whatever. He can sing, he can dance. You know what I mean? And that is Patrick Stewart. I mean, there's this Henry, like Harry Lennox.
Yes, Harry Lennox.
Hawthorne James.
Yes.
You got. Come on.
Yes. Mr. Guinevere.
Roger Guinevere. Roger Guinevere. Yeah, Smith. Oh my goodness. You got Terrell Tilford. You got all these people who has all this, this stage stuff, and people have have gone to school, got master's degrees in it, and PhDs in it, and they've trained and they've worked all over the world, and they studied in London, and they studied at Carnegie Mellon or wherever, and they're taking private lessons. There's nothing like it. There's nothing. Like Sandra Oh, who was on Grey's Anatomy, she is a staunch believer that, all actors got to train in theater.
Good.
She said all actors got to train in theater, and then you can go off and do, to do whatever. And it's a different technique when you go from the stage to the thing, can't be as loud, you can't be as You know, like on camera. I mean, you can do that, but there's a different method to it. I mean, you still have to bring those characters alive.
Gotcha.
You know, but whereas on stage you have to use your whole body to convey something, as opposed to in film and television, it's just, your eye.
Yes.
Like your eye can convey, a bunch of stuff, whereas that eye don't work on stage because there's people sitting 2 miles away going like, we can't see your eye. You got to use your whole body.
Thank you. John Wesley, when he came here last time, he brought out a good point. If you try to make a living here in this town, again, this is not a theater town, but you're trying to make a living.
Right.
If you can't get a job on television or on film, go do stage.
Yeah.
Go do stage.
And a lot of people do stage, and
Yes.
and the challenge is that there are a lot of people here who are theater trained, who love theater,
Yes.
want to do theater, but they come to Los Angeles for a film television career, right? So they sometimes don't, between auditions and shows and whatnot, if you're in the show, and a lot of the plays here don't double cast or they don't have understudies.
Yes.
If you're in a play and you get called to do an episode of Scandal, right? Most folks not going to give up that money. This is what they come to do,
Right.
but they're in a play and Scandal is shooting when the play is up, right?
Right.
And there's no understudies, there are no double casting, then the production has to postpone that production for that night.
Gotcha.
So then the producers of the play now have to go and, give the money back. So it's a whole kind of thing. So therefore, a lot of actors who really want to do stage don't do it because they don't want to put producers in that kind of predicament.
Gotcha.
Especially if there isn't any understudies or like double casting involved. Like Joe Stern, who has the Matrix Theater on Melrose.
Right.
Now, the company that he had several years ago, he would double cast because the majority of people in his plays were well-known television and film people, who also had a theater, had that strong theater background. So he would double cast. So he knows that, if Ian McShane can't, is not going to, make a performance, his understudy Gregory Itzen is going to, is going to be there, or Greg Henry is going to be there, to do that, and they've all been rehearsed equally, so everybody's ready to go.
John, I love the way you roll them actors. Roll them names, brother. Roll them names, man. You've been there. They know you.
Oh yeah, they are brilliant.
Yes.
They are all brilliant, man.
You know, today two events are going on today in Los Angeles. In Leimert Park tonight at the Vision Theater, not the Vision Theater, at the Barbara Morrison Theater.
Yeah.
Bill Duke he's directing a play tonight.
Yes.
It's a read. It's actually a read.
It's a
stage
read. Yes.
And then there's another event going on at the Biltmore Hotel tonight. Oh yes, it's the NAACP Theater Awards.
The awards.
Tonight.
That's right.
I know the guy who's the announcer. I slept with him last night. That's me.
Yes. Your voice has graced the NAACP Theater Awards for many
and you've
years.
done, look, you did 12, 14, 15, a whole bunch of NAACP.
I've stage managed the NAACP Theater Awards a few times.
Yes.
And I've been the stage manager for the technical awards as well.
Wow.
And it's a wonderful event and it's a great opportunity for folks to be acknowledged.
Yes.
Speaking of Mr. Bill Duke, yes, he is doing a play called the Mighty Gents. Is that the name?
Mighty Gents. Yes,
The Mighty Gents is a wonderful play, and Mr. Duke, who I've had the pleasure of working with, and he and I would sit in rehearsal on a piece we did several years ago, and crazy stuff would happen in rehearsal, and Bill and I would just turn and look at one another and go. He's a wonderful spirit. He's a wonderful spirit.
Big,
wonderful
tall
spirit.
dude. Look at him.
Wonderful spirit.
Yes.
Got that smile that lights up a room.
Oh yeah.
Bill walk in the room, the room is lit up.
What's your name, sir? Just call me Duke. Just call me Duke.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah,
what a guy.
Yeah.
Well, we got a few more minutes, but please tell us about your current event that you're doing right now, sir.
Well, I'm doing a play called, can you see this on the camera right here? I'm doing a play called Daddy Longlegs. down at the at the Beverly O'Neill Theater in Long Beach. It is being produced by the International City Theater down in Long Beach. We just opened this past Friday. It is a musical, music and lyrics by Paul Gordon, book by John Card, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Have two wonderful actors in it, Ashley Jones and Dino, I always mess Dino's name up, so I'm like, Narcotis. I think that's pronounced his name. You know, he always looks at me crazy when I say his name. And it's directed by Mary Jo Dupree. And it's a musical, two actors. The music is absolutely beautiful. Musical director is Bill Wolfe. And he's musical director, and he's also a pianist. And we have a small band, which is Bill Wolfe is on piano. We have Blake on cello, and Daniel is on acoustic guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're running to March 11th.
Thank you. March 11th. How you get tickets?
You get tickets through the website of ICT, International City Theater.org. Okay. And you can get tickets there. There's parking there. It's right next to the Convention Center in Long Beach Performing Arts Center, and the Terrence Theater, which is a big 3,000-seat theater where Kevin Hart recently performed. So they get those kind of acts in the Terrence, and we're right next door, you know, like in that clump in Long Beach, and it's a beautiful, beautiful. I'm the production stage manager for it. I have a great assistant stage manager named Ruben, and wardrobe assistant Carson. I had to name my crew.
Get that plug.
Yeah. And audio engineer Flo.
All right, all right. John, how do you want to be remembered? I always ask that question.
You know, remember this, you know, someone who just loved doing what he do and try to help out other folks, you know. One of the other things I want to bring up, that I've been a teaching artist for a number of years. So basically going into probation camps, juvenile hall, high schools, middle schools, and helping youth write their own plays. Like we don't help them write the play, we help them structure it, but their words are their words, right? So what's on the page is what they say. We don't correct them. These are their stories. And I work with an organization called The Unusual Suspects that's been around for 25 plus years now. Okay. And with these young people who are in probation camps, you know, looking at 2, 3, 4 years, or in juvenile hall looking at 25, you know, to life, and they come in and in 12 weeks they write a play, and most of them don't know what a play is, but you see the brilliance of these young people. These people are, you know, their lives have taken a different turn, and so they're in there for whatever reasons, but when you cut through all that, these are young people who really have something to say, and unfortunately, no one is listening to them before they get into trouble.
Gotcha.
And get in trouble. So it's a way for them to understand humanity. Mm-hmm. It's a way for them to understand, you know, how each other functions, self-esteem. Even if they don't go into the arts, that they gain some tools that they can take into any field that they go into, you know. And the work that they do is brilliant. These young people do some brilliant work, even though, you know, like some of the, you know, reading levels are low, but they got other things, you know, that they can talk about that they're good at. And so the Unusual Suspects, Virginia Avenue Project, Heart of Los Angeles. There are several groups that are in town that are working with young people and just doing amazing work.
John, all we can say is two things. First of all, thank you. And second of all, God bless you for what you do, man. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman with Photography as an Art. Call 818-954-9294. That's 818-954-9294 and get a $100 discount certificate from any photo package over $300. And also, Ron Irwin, attorney, author of Mass Murders in America, to get a 30% discount paperback coupon. Contact Lulu Press at lulu.com. That's lulu.com. And we want to thank our guest, Mr. John Freeland, Jr.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. This was fun.
We got to bring you back. I got still a lot of questions we haven't even touched yet.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you. We'll see you next time. Take care.